Last days of March here, back in the Newberry Mountains, in the protected zone of Lake Mead this time. So a lot more peaceful, even despite the high winds. I'm here during a brief cool spell in between arriving hot periods all of a sudden. Looking to see what's happened lower down the Newberries since a few, dud spring trips that you've seen so far. Not complete duds, but pretty much duds for the most part. And I actually have permission to botanize here, so looking for interesting new things that haven't been collected in the Lake Mead before. It's gonna be quite a scenic trip. Might be rugged, might be windy, might be hot tomorrow as I come back up another canyon. Anyway, most of today is for lower lands. Lots of brassica coming up. Not good to see in a protected area. I'm sure we'll be finding a lot of other things to stop at because it's starting to look pretty green all of a sudden. And finally, although green with weeds in many cases, the shrubs are coming out too, especially once I get lower down. Quite a bit of Eucalypta starting to come up in the shadows of boulders and such, trying to make a way amongst lots of invasive grass and brassica and stuff. Flowering up here, definitely flowering lower down. Nolina, locally common in the canyons. And of course, pretty much this region is the only place where it occurs in the state. That's Yucca shededra up there, looking a little similar. Yucca shededra never flops and waves in the wind. See these moving in just the slightest of breezes at the moment, and there we go. Disturbing amount of tamarix and brassica and this drainage. Been working on some of it as I go along, but I don't want to waste too much time. Quite a bit of water in some of the deeper pockets of the canyon. No amphibians yet or other aquatic life. Besides algae. They're ephemeral indeed. Give it a month, most of that water's gone. Canyon opens up and it's just as dry and barren as any other given wash in the region. See, the annual growth is a lot more depressed in these less wet areas. Still got Cundea though. Emery, plenty of mesquite, also indicating subsurface water. Opuntia bacillar is starting to flower. This Characteristic numerous stamens, numerous tepals, numerous showy tepals of the cactus family born on an inferior ovary, being that structure. Oh, still some glaucids on those honeys, even if there's no spines. Great, now I have a problem. See those tepals in bud. If you're bored with all the Mojave balloons, how do you think I feel about them? Better late than never, eh? Lots of Eriophyllum coming back. Salvia columbari, of course. And this thing that looked a heck of a lot like Linanthus aureus, which we've seen last year, and as the epithet describes, is yellow flowered. Turns out this is also Linanthus aureus, probably. Not sure if the genetic work's been done, but it's a white form called Linanthus aureus decorus. So, flower color can vary within a species, if this truly is the same species. I think we all kind of intuitively understand that, but here's a case in point. I don't see the yellow form around, only Eriophyllum. It's doubly a pretty darn low elevation, below 2,000 feet here, closer to 1,000 feet. So sustains above 100 degrees here throughout much of the summer. It's just in the shadows enough, I suppose, to survive this low down. Usually see them quite a bit higher up than it's pretty much the most barren life zone in all of Nevada, huh? Already seems to be a better year for cacti, and hopefully some other succulents will be better this year, such as the yuccas for flowering. Last year didn't see crap for flowering cacti. We've got kind of serious Engelmannii. Again, multiple tepals, numerous stamens deep inside of there. Kind of hard to see in the lighting conditions. It's a ribbed barrel cactus, but the barrels aren't too big like our friends Phaerocactus and Chinocactus. Yeah, Phaerocactus out there. Much thicker. Those are about a half foot at least in diameter on average. These are just a few inches in diameter on average. The other Cainocereus produces red flowers, bright crimson, so when they're in flower it's quite easy to tell the difference readily. Purple ones, Engelmannii. bit unusual to see two such robust sparrow cacti doing so well together. Ordinarily, one of them will die off and only one big barrel will persist. Can even superficially look like an eastern woodland at times. Look at that shady, music understory filled with all that eucalyptus and other stuff. No invasive weeds for once. Shadow of the Senegalia. North-facing aspects are the most interesting in the Mojave Desert. Very few special things here on southern aspects. With a little climb ahead. Someone had a bad day here. Even though there's no water here, it's extremely lush. Look how dense with vegetation it is. Especially, you know, our wash riparian taxa. You know, just need condia and tamarix. I'll tell you, there's water underneath. Some neat peridotally here, forming massive perennial clumps. There we go. Nicotiana, and then I just stumbled into this nice little find. This is former Mimulus cardinalis, erythranthe, I believe, rather than diplicus, since it is such long pedicels there. Been seeing small hummingbirds today too, so this goes hand in hand. Gonna leave them alone. I'm sure they've been collected here, you know. It's only a few. Nice and beautiful though. I was hoping to descend this unnamed canyon. It's gorgeous waters, but come upon some drops. And it's a shame I didn't have a partner and some rope, because it looks pretty fun. Come back here someday with a rope. Lots of cuscuta and mimulus down there. Excuse me, erythranthe cardinalis. So colorful, I suddenly feel like I'm in the tropics. Almost sounded like a waterfall, and I was almost starting to believe it, but it's just gusty winds. And they're funneling through this narrow part of the canyon, making me think there's other drops ahead. So definitely worth a return, I'd have to say. I could make that. Then getting down there might be problematic. Doesn't look fun with a 35-pound pack or so either. I might like I stuck dead there, so I'm gonna retreat for now. It's an oasis, a little bit salty, but an oasis nonetheless. Ooh, other monkey flowers. And then there's the tamarix, which I feel compelled to get rid of. Like so. Got that one while it's young. These places need to be maintained against all odds. Look how lush the encelia is here. At least they tend to preserve the nicest parts within wilderness. Suppose all the truly rugged terrain is out on that Spirit Mountain, Newberry Mountain Massif, North Peak Massif with the radio towers. The rest of the Newberries are relatively gentle, I suppose. So I'm heading south towards Laughlin now. I won't go all the way to the highway, of course. Ruin my wilderness experience at this point. No, thank you. At some point tomorrow early, I'm going to turn back that way towards Spirit Mountain. It looks pretty gentle going all of a sudden. Not sure whether to be disappointed or relieved. It's a very challenging place. It's a cholla factory. And the kind that readily detach, for the most part. Big loviae, as opposed to Carpa. Canthocarpa, excuse me. I know we've been in canyons and low ridges most of today, so there's a little perspective. Less than 1,000 feet above the river. Going to be hotter tomorrow, so continue contouring along relatively low until the afternoon and head back higher that way. Look at those rugged pinnacles. I've never seen them before. Lots of hidden mysteries, unnamed peaks out here. Starting to get a little too close to the highway, I think. Turn back west soon. One or two more washes, we'll see. Still trudging through the challenging cholla country. Just ran upon something special for the first time in Nevada, personally. Cucurbita palmata. Member of the, melon genus, Cucurbita. Squashes, gourds, cucumbers and pumpkins also closely related. Fairly small family of viney taxa. You can see this thing is about to start sprawling along the ground in a viney manner. Often palmately lobed in this family, the leaves. Got 5 lobes. Often scabrous, rough to the touch. Maybe you can see some of those hairs there. Tend to be curled over like that, lending a rough feeling. None of the orange flowers out yet. But I've only seen this in California before. So nice to see it here finally. It's not like it's unknown from here. just maybe I'm in the wrong place in the wrong time. Last year's melon is right there. Not a ton of melons around, so this thing ain't thriving necessarily. Got this growing at my house, and there's a lot of melons there. These produced from an inferior ovary. Look at all the pumpkin seed looking things coming up there, huh? Tend to be flattened seeds in this family, another good character we can see readily. And fruits born on an inferior ovary have a special name too. This is called a peepo. And if it were fresh, you could see a little bit more why it's called a peepo. It has a leathery outer covering. It's basically a dignified berry. Fleshy at maturity, multi-seeded, but marked by a special leathery cap, if you will. Choy is really starting to get on my nerves out here, so looking forward to going home. Top out on this wash, unnamed, and bump over to another wash system, also unnamed, I believe. Take that very close to where I'm parked. In the washes, I can better avoid the cacti, and ooh, they get everywhere nonetheless, even if you never come in contact with them. Just hear me exclaim a little bit there. It's because one stuck in my shoe yet again. It's like I'm getting vaccinated all day, every day out here. Little jabs in my feet, my hands, just about everywhere else too. Some of the hillsides are even worse, so you can at least spread out the walking gait down here to better avoid them. Nonetheless, no matter how hard you try, still be one sticking in your foot once in a while. I'm wondering if a lot of this annual life won't be burned into submission in the next few days. We're starting in the next few days. Saw some brassicas lower down in the washes that were already drying out before flowering. Not necessarily a bad thing. And it's going to be hitting the 90s here really soon. It's going to be 100 degrees in Laughlin this weekend, I believe I saw. So that's quickly going to dry out a lot of the annual life, particularly before a lot of it's flowered. That's a lot of erodium there. Can't escape erodium very long. So I wonder how often that happens, that annuals will get started and then either there won't be enough precip or the temperatures will become swiftly too high for them to complete their life cycle. Once I'm done with this climb, I'm almost back. Getting pretty warm out here, even for a cooler day. So this may be goodbye to the lower Mojave for a while. I'll try to come back here one last time, but if the temperatures preclude that, we go on to newer and higher places. Exciting. Spirit Mountain. Never looks unfine. Still, all that to explore someday. I believe the only known occurrence of an agave species besides Utahensis was fairly recently discovered in that part of the range. So who knows what else is there. Be cool to run into that too. So maybe a cool day or two later in the spring we'll check out the other part of the Spirit Mountain Massif.